All right, everybody, we're here with Eric Patrick Thomas, and just a really interesting story and I watched your video with the Damon John that you sent over, and was really incredible. So it really made my or this episode even more interesting for me. But
Awesome.
he's also known as Mr. Inspire. He's a Flint, Michigan native and entrepreneur who is passionate about changing the way people view disabilities. This passion came after a fateful night in 1997 in which Eric suffered a spinal cord injury that paralyzed him from the neck down. Throughout his journey, Eric uses his experience to empower resilience and inspire change for people with barriers. Um, so I see that I guess, in addition to serving the community, you're a public speaker, both motivationally and at House and Senate hearings. You sit on several state boards as a voice for people with barriers, and he's an advocate for self-determination living, hip hop artist, D-Man ambassador, and is the founder of Inspire brand clothing. Eric is also the proud owner of Easy Awareness by Design, a business specializing in graphic design for custom apparel, signs, banners, which offer on-the-job experience to people of all disabilities. I mean, wow, like that's just incredible to read that and just see everything that you're accomplishing in your world. And so I just want to let's just start with hearing the story of kind of what got you started in all this.
Like got me started like advocating or
Well, just I guess maybe the disability that came about, and kind of what kind of propelled you into what you're doing now for the disabilities and stuff like that.
okay, as you were reading, I was always involved with hip hop music, and I had a group called Miscellaneous, and we were celebrating our album, like our music release project. Then we all lived in the same house together. So we had the album release party at the house, and I've said it millions of times. You know, it wasn't the right setting to have a professional event in an unprofessional situation setting, area, because you should do something like that in a hall or an event center. And I went outside to check the parking lot just to see, like, make sure that nobody was messing with the neighbor's house or yard and stuff, just keeping things under control. I was coming back to the house, and then maybe like 5 minutes later, somebody comes from behind me, pulls a gun, boom, 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 boom. I get hit with the bullet. It's in my throat. C3, C4 vertebrae. I spun like to the left. There's a piece of skin on the back of my head that looks like the other one might have grazed. Like another one grazed by. And then I dropped to the ground, unable to breathe, unable to speak, unable to yell for help, do anything. I was just like in my own silence while the chaos was going on the outside. And then in the house, there was a person that was taking EMT classes, and he came out and stabilized me until the paramedics. It was like a fire paramedic, if I remember, and then police, and then I end up in the hospital. I had tubes down my throat, 4 screws in my head for the halo, so that it could stabilize my spine, and then had to do a weight shift. And
Yeah.
then that was it, and morning came, and my mom and stepdad were there, my dad and stepmom and people were around, and and I got the news that I wasn't able to move. And then they were telling me what happened, which I already kind of knew, but it was just kind of repeating, and I was just trying to
Yeah.
survive, you know. And then no real investigation. The detective came like 4 days later, and then but I communicated with eye blinks, blink once for yes, twice for no, and then tongue clicks. Then after that, they knew that I was not going to breathe on my own right away, so they gave me a tracheotomy. So they cut your throat, put a tube in your throat area. And so from there, I was in the hospital. It was like, what do we do next? I got to go to rehab. Where to go to rehab? And we couldn't find a place. In Craig Hospital out in Inglewood, Colorado, they were known for getting people off the ventilator. So we ended up out there. October 29th, 97, I'm heading out to Craig Hospital. I get there and then the next chapter starts. Craig Hospital is like boot camp rehab. It was tough, but they worked you. And then that's where they started weaning me off the vent. So the respiratory therapist comes in. They turn your ventilator off for like 30 seconds. You're like, how do I breathe? You know, you can't talk. You're not able to talk at that time. But you're like, do I push? Do I stop? What do I do? How do I
Yeah.
breathe? I breathe. Then they turn it back on. They go, okay, we'll be back. You know, and then they do a minute. And then they do it 3 times a day, 30-second increments. Then they do that until you wean off the ventilator. Sometimes you take 10 steps forward. Sometimes you take 15 steps back. So it's just an ongoing push and pull process. You just got to keep pushing on. And then 5.5 months from hospital to rehab, I was almost on my way home and I got off the ventilator. Yeah, that was a huge victory, man. So I came home without the vent to my mom and my stepdad's house. My stepdad built a ramp, so I didn't have to go to a nursing home. And then I basically, it was like coming from one planet and back to planet Earth.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, the next chapter, I'm home, what to do now? All these questions, all these, this trying to figure things out. And yeah, it was like, what do we do now? I'm home from having thousands of staff, doctors or care nurses, people that were there to take care of you, to a couple people.
Yeah.
So it was like, what do we do? That was kind of like where the start was, where I started moving into a different direction, you know, getting involved with people with disabilities, advocating, learning what advocating is, going to Senate and House hearings, and sharing my testimony on Medicaid and Medicare cuts, accessibility, ADA, and so on. That's where the journey began.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. I mean, just the story is just, I mean, yeah, it sucks and stuff, but you've been able to turn it from that negative situation to something, I mean, completely different. So I guess in my head, I'm thinking, I mean, can you recall what you were thinking when you got home and you kind of, I mean, you got to breathing and now you're trying to figure out life. Can you recall those thoughts and like, how are you able to stay positive in that regard?
Faith, that was one. Well, that's the main character. That's the driver, you know.
Yeah.
How am I gonna live? How am I gonna be independent? How am I gonna have my own place? How am I gonna have a family? How am I gonna work? How am I gonna be have a sustainable income? How am I gonna go back to school? Like, how am I gonna get around with transportation? How am I gonna get to the grocery store? Like, how am I gonna have people take care of me? Is it gonna be my mom and stepdad, or dad and stepmom, or family that's gonna be always taking care of me for the rest of my life? How is this gonna work? How is this gonna work in long terms, 20, 30, 40 years? And you just start to find your resources. Because you can't sit around. I mean, but you can sit around because you're in a wheelchair. No pun intended, but you got to move forward, because if you don't, it could be death. You know what I mean? Like, you are pushed into move actionable steps. You have to take action, or you're going to not survive.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that you can just sit back and think that the world is going to just revolve around you, and all the puzzle pieces are going to come together. You got to put hard, actionable work in. You got to get out there, contact, what resources are available, and write out, and think of the goals, and that's where self-determination comes from. You start the self-determination is where you plan your goals and dreams, and you figure out how to make them happen. That's where everything of self-determination comes from. So it's like, I want to go to school. How do you do it? How do I go to school again? There's got to be somebody in this world that can come and tell me how I'm going to go to school. We got the internet, I know it was like 1998 when I came home, but the internet was there. Was I able to use the computer yet? Not yet. I was able to use the mouse, like with the head pointer in rehab and dragon. So I did use voice recognition software, but I didn't have it for myself yet until I met an assistive technology technician. Well, he owns an assistive technology business named Gus. And that's where I got my laptop and my dragon, naturally speaking. And that's where I started ever learning how to use the computer, And let me tell you, voice recognition software back then, like if I had the window open, a bird went by, it would start opening up like windows and stuff on my laptop. It was so touchy. It's a lot better now. But I'm also like I would say I'm a professional in dragon. 22 years. They should be making me a spokesperson. Come on, dragon. If you're out there, nuance, listening. Yeah,
Absolutely.
but so it's all about, it's kind of like what I'm doing, what I do now. Listening to, knowing all these mentors and these motivational entrepreneurs, that are out there. They're doing the challenges now. They used to be called master classes. You see them, they're everywhere. And what do they talk about? Goals, mentoring, attainable goals. They have their own kind of spice or their niche to it, or, bringing it down to a micro niche. Did I know all that stuff then? No, but I was doing it then though. Just I didn't know what it was called. I was mentoring then other people in rehab, like helping them that got injured, but didn't know it was called mentoring.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this stuff for a long time. I just didn't know the title of what it was.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. I always just said we got to find the how. So I made sure not to say can't. I said how. So how am I going to go to school? How am I going to work? How am I going to make money? How am I going to, all those things. And then just got busy, got on the phone, had the person that was with me, look in the phone book that's dating me, the yellow pages, and finding the number and then talking to them. And then one of the resources that we ended up finding was the Disability Network in Flint. And Mr. Zelli, he said, heard my story, and he was just like, said, come on in. And so my mom and Bob, that's my stepdad, we go to the Disability Network, and I remember rolling into there, and Mr. Zelli's like, you may not believe it now, but you're gonna be able to accomplish everything that you wanted to do. And somehow I believed him. Like I was just like, he made me believe, and it was true. But at that time, I'm 20 years old. I just got shot. I'm looking rough as can be. I just got 4 screws out of my head. I'm a mess.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get back to like where my life is, and so I said, all right, let's do this. And he said, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set you up with these two people, and Kathy and Michelle. And they are going to help you get people to take care of you. You are going to learn how to hire people, interview people, fire, do schedules. So that right then, my life became a business. Eric Patrick Thomas of Caregiving 101 business or something like that. And instantly we put an ad in the paper, And then I was able to start interviewing people. And then I hired my very first person, Pam. She worked for me, been working for me for since May of 98.
Wow.
May 98, yeah. And then my next person a year later has been working for me since maybe September of 99 or September of 22 years. So one's 23, one's 22, one's 21 years. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I was able to start hiring some people to take care of me, to provide my care, and the audience probably doesn't know what type of care I need. Everything from bathing to hygiene, to toileting, to bowel management, dressing, to undressing, to transferring to the wheelchair, to getting out of the wheelchair, to turning, to answering the phone, all those things. Everything that a person can do that moves their arms and legs, I need help with. Now, there is assistive technology now, for instance, answering the phone. There's some that I can use by voice. If I have the headset on and someone calls my laptop, I can I can answer it myself. So there are things I can do independently now, but you learn that stuff,
Yeah.
and that's through assistive technology. But yeah, and I was able to have, so many hours in the morning and so many hours at night. And then the rest was all put on the responsibility of my mom and stepdad, because that's where I lived.
Yeah.
So that's
That
where it started.
that's awesome, man. It just blows my mind because you have people today that they'll face something simple, or I say simple, I mean comparatively, I guess, but um, it's more of like a mental strain or whatever it may be, but and then they shut down. Like, I don't want to try anymore. There's no reason to find a new way. But you're on this other spectrum that is just complete. Like, I thought I was resourceful in what I needed. Like when I face a challenge and I don't know how to fix it, I'm like, okay, well that can be done. Well, I mean, it's you're in the position of you just need to live. You're trying to live independently. You're just trying to survive. You're just trying to go through that. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my head around how you had that mindset, and or was there a mindset that you had to shift into at that time to kind of keep that positivity flowing, instead of just kind of falling off the cliff, so to speak.
I think I would say I think it's survival. I think that you start, like, when I got shot, I was like, no way. Like, I was like, not, it can't be over yet. Like, there was so much stuff that I wanted to accomplish still, and I was working towards. And like, when I've always had like projects or dreams, and I got that close, but never succeeded them. And at that moment, I was like, man,
Yeah.
really? Like, man. And I was like, I was so close to that album release, that music project, so close. And boom, man, did I get hit back. Like, the world got rocked 1,000 times. And I was like, so with survival, it was like, whatever the challenge is going to be, there's more that I want to 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 do in life.
Yeah.
There's like things in life that I'm supposed to do. I don't know what they are yet at that moment, but I feel like I need to stay here. So I have to. So it's going to be difficult. Not going to be easy, but I'm okay with that. Like, because I know that I'm still going to be able to live. Things will be provided. They may not be provided how I like them, but I knew that, like, with my faith, I was going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
That's what I knew. Like, I knew. Like, I prayed like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? And then I also when I was in the rehab, a chaplain came into my room and asked me if I forgave or forgive who or whom shot me. I was like, you couldn't hear my voice because I could just move my mouth. But I was like, yeah, yep, sure do. yes, yes. And it was like the cord was cut. They went one way and my ship sailed. They could never, ever hold me down again or have,
Absolutely.
you know. And I think that was a big turning point of life. Like, you know, going into a better direction.
Yeah.
Um, so those type of mindsets, there's definitely challenges. There's not a time that I never wanted to say I give up or anything to do with suicide because I believe on the things that like you think about and focus on can happen. Like like
Yeah.
based on life, I've seen it happen in life. If you go after a goal, you set your goal, you vision the goal, you take, steps, actionable steps to get to the goal. How am I going to make it happen? Before you know it, boom, you made the goal. Like because you were, you know, tunnel visioned on it, you focused on it,
You're focused.
you
Yeah.
prayed about it, you already said, that's mine. I already made that goal. Every day it's like, okay, thanks. In your prayer, thanks for the new van. Even though it's not there yet. Thank you for the new vehicle that I'm fundraising for.
Yeah.
Because it's all about what's in your soul and what's in your heart.
Yeah.
You
For
know,
sure.
you know. So
So,
those.
well, tell us a little bit about, I guess now that, you're 20 years later, um, you're paralyzed completely from the neck down, correct?
Correct.
So how are you functioning? Like I see, I mean, you're in a wheelchair, and how do you operate that and that type of thing?
Uh, I'm sitting right now in a power wheelchair, and there's a straw that comes from the back of the wheelchair to the front, and I grab the straw with my mouth, then I give it a hard puff forward, hard sip backwards, soft puff right, soft sip left. It's kind of like a song, got to flow.
Yeah.
Hard puff forward, hard sip backwards, soft puff right, soft sip left.
Well,
That's the
that's
way I remember. It's kind of like a hook to a song. I
yeah,
haven't made the song yet, but I thought about it.
yeah.
That's how I roll.
So you still doing some of the so I guess as a side note, you still doing some of the music stuff?
Yeah. So really cool story. So it's 2010, and in December of 2009, my friend asked me to come to this video shoot for a film. So I go there. I didn't get in the film, but the script supervisor that was there, uh, Natasha, we started talking. Like we were just talking while we were there and stuff. So we just became really cool. Kind of followed each other on social media and stuff. So a month later or 2 months later, okay, so it's 2010, and I needed a new van, wheelchair accessible van. So I put out there that I'm fundraising for a van. Well, then I get this Twitter, from her, and she says this here, contact him. His name is Ziad Kassab. He's my cousin. Tell him that you're fundraising for a van. Well, I see the website, so I look at the website. He owns a transportation company. Well, this guy that like is like the front of the main person that it shows on the website. His name's Danny, and he's also paralyzed from the neck down on a ventilator. And I'm like, whoa, this guy's got a transportation company. Like, man. So I'm telling my caregiver, like, check this out, check this out. And I'm like, so I'm thinking that Danny owns his own transportation company because that's what it looked like. So I message Ziad, and of course, like I think the first thing he's like, what do you know about what do you know about me and my family or something like that, or because I was going through the screening process. And then I was like, well, I went to the website and this is about me, and I was like, it's really cool. Danny owns a transportation. Then he sent me a video, and it was a video of the memorial of Danny. And so Danny passed away August 30th of 2009, my grandma's birthday, actually. My mom's birthday is the same date. So now I know that Danny does not own the transportation company, but he was like that. He's their brother. So there's three brothers and a sister. And so I was like, okay, now I got a better understanding. And then we just kind of went back and forth on email, and then eventually I think we Skype called. And then March 6, 2010, he calls me up. He's like, "Hey, can you come to the Pistons game?" I'm like, yeah, I gotta, let me see if my caregiver, like, who can come with me. He was like, all right. And then he's like, I'll get you, I got, I sponsored the wheelchair accessible section. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we go there, my caregiver and my dad. It was Pam, actually, the one that, worked, the first employee, my first private employee that I hired. And then we go there, we meet for the first time in person. Then he shows me this bracelet. It's blue. It says D-Man on it. And he tells me about this foundation that he's starting called the D-Man Foundation, which stands for Danny's Miracle Angel Network. So I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, I want to make the first ever barrier-free music therapy recording studio. So that people with high-level injuries will be able to come in, produce and record music. I was like, I'm down. Like,
Yeah.
and I wasn't even thinking, actually, I wasn't even thinking of myself recording. I was thinking like helping other people because it's 2010 now. I'm like kind of like the older brother of the group now. You know what I mean? Of these youngins that are going to come in and want to record. So I was like, yeah, like, okay. So then just got involved in, like, before you know it, my fundraiser to the van was May of 2010. His company sponsored, and then he spoke at the fundraiser. And then the Hollywood night was July right afterwards, and that was that's a event fundraiser for the foundation where I got a D-Man award. And then 9 days later, he got married, and I went to his wedding. So then, like, we became like brothers, like that quick, just from that one decision to go to that filming where my friend asked me, like, I did not feel good at all. I felt horrible. But something told me go. Like, I felt bad. My lungs were filled up. I should not have went, but I had to go. Something told me to go. So it's like that
Yeah.
one decision. And that's how it all, like, things have changed. And then I got on the committee and helped them. And before you know it, we got the board together and the committee together, lots of meetings. And then he coordinated or collaborated with the person that already had a studio. He moved from his location and moved to the new location, and they rented out a space. And then the D-Man Foundation studio opened up, and then it was ready for us to record. So that's how I was able to now be able to do music again, because they were like, "You're an ambassador, man. You can record whenever, just let us know when you want to record." I'm like, all right, I can do this. This is going to be cool. So I contacted my friend Kian, told him, yo, I can record again, man. I need some help. Like, I gotta I gotta get back into writing and stuff, like back into the flow. And I respect his rhymes and his music and his talent. And I know that he would have got me. So he came over and we just like freestyled and just talked all day, and it was awesome. It was like back in the day, back in '97, where he used to come over and we used to have, ciphers and battles and performances and stuff. It was great. And so that was the start of getting back into music. And then um, 18 years later, since the injury, I was on stage performing.
Wow.
So and it's on video, it's on my YouTube channel. So it's 17 or 18 years later. After the injury, I'm back on stage performing again. Talk
Yeah.
about,
That's
that's a long, that didn't happen yesterday, not 10 years. 17 or 18 years later, I think it's 18 years later,
that's
I was
a
on stage.
that's a long time to just, I mean, stay with it, man. I mean, just trying to keep that grind of and keeping that energy high. From your situation, I can see it'd be easy to just kind of fall into that. Yeah, this is what happened to me. So I should, I should get help doing this or doing that. But you're complete
Yeah,
opposite. Like, you're so driven that you're not letting anything stop you, and I love that.
yeah. And I think it's one of the passions that I have. I have a passion for advocacy. quality of life, um, design and apparel, and branding and photography, and food. We got a lot of passions, but it's there. Like music's always been there. I've been doing hip hop since elementary, man. So it's always done. And that dates back to when I was born. Mother Goose, Dr. Seuss,
Yeah.
nursery rhymes. I just love the way that words play connected. Just taking words and just making them connect or bringing something to life. Like if you bring life into like a paperclip, and then you tell the backstory of the paperclip, and then all of a sudden you throw the paperclip away, and when you feel bad about that paperclip, you know that's some art. You
Yeah.
know that you have done some, like, yeah, man. It's just
That's
yeah,
incredible.
it's
So I wanted to like talk about the brand of Inspire. I wanted to learn everybody to learn more a little bit more about that.
the brand Inspire really comes from a childhood dream of wanting my own clothing line. Back in the day when I was growing up, I wanted my own clothing brand or clothing line or something like that. When there was airbrushing, I had a few things airbrushed before. I might have got it like at the mall or Boss. There's a guy Boss here in Flint. He did airbrushing, and it was whatever my maturity level was at that time. It was always like graffiti and hip hop, but it was something whatever at that age and that era and stuff. And then you know future moving forward, 2010 again, right around that time, or 2010, 2000, no, 2011. Uh, After taking on so many different challenges, owning a business, writing for an entertainment newspaper, mentoring, public speaking. I owned an internet radio station, and everything just kind of ran its course. So I went back to this dream of owning t-shirt shop or doing t-shirt printing. And the person that I went to had a t-shirt printing business 12 years ago. So she already had a good idea of like how things run. But I had to do a lot of homework. I talked to people that own t-shirt printing businesses. Um, just a lot of studying. And then I got connected with Goodwill, where she works. She works at Goodwill. And one of the services that I receive is supportive employment, and they have a contract with the Genesee Health System through supportive employment. So I was able to get someone to work for me in my business through my services that I receive. And so after writing the business plan multiple times, and then I was looking for an investment. And when I was trying to find the investment, the same person that helped me, that started the D-Man Foundation, when I went to him with the business plan, he was like, I want to be a business partner, not just an investor. So we became business partners. And that's how Easy Awareness by Design was formed, incorporated. And then Goodwill had space open, incubator space. And so I was like, that's the perfect location. So before you know it, November 2011, the doors are opening to Easy Awareness by Design. And from there, it was t-shirt printing. And then it maybe a year later, we started putting Inspire on the shirt that I wear when I go speak. Then there was just one time that it just caught my eye. I was speaking to kids at the middle school, Sword Creek Middle School, and it was just like something about it. It was just like that, where you're looking at them, like you're looking at the sun rising up. You're like, wow. You're like, we're gonna make this public. And then before you know, we went to the Damon John Academy. Jessie and I did. She's the graphic design artist. Plus, you probably saw her in the emails.
Yeah.
And then we had a website. We had product up there. We had no idea how to make sales. So we just told people, no, don't go to our website. Our website's not that good. At the Damon John Academy, they were like, everybody go to everybody's website. And it was like, no, don't go to our website. But that's what we learned about Shopify. And the next day, after the academy and the next work day, We took down the website, we opened up a Shopify page, and we were able to get sales. You know, we were able to know how to get sales, you know, how everything works. And we learned so much now. I mean, we're like so much more advanced.
Oh
And,
yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
from the start of it, you know, with Printful and, you know, the print on demand services and Amazon and Etsy pages and, you know, all the e-commerce stuff was, it's
Yeah.
all learning, you know. So and so Inspire was still growing organically a little more. People were buying Inspire, and then they were posting on uh, social media what inspires them, or show your Inspire, you know, hashtag show your Inspire or Inspire. Then Damon John on a Friday the 13th, June 13th, it was a Friday, and he posted this huge article, like this blog, and he was wearing an Inspire shirt. And he was like, Eric is the brand of inspiration. And that's how Inspire Friday started. So how we felt when we were geeked at seeing that, like that post, we were like, man, let's have everybody feel that way. Every Friday when the end of the week happens, the start of the weekend almost, we're gonna do Inspire Friday. So every Friday we say what inspires you. So Inspire Friday, every Friday, Inspire Friday. What inspires you? Hashtag Inspire Friday. So people start sharing what inspires them, pictures what inspires them. And it's been going on for years. And then it Inspired had its mission, it had its meaning, but it wasn't really built yet. The people that purchased, that helped it grow, like I look at it like the seed and the tree growing, and each branch that grew took on a different meaning from a person that bought it. And then from that, we were able to really knock out a mission statement and a tagline, a lifestyle changing the world. That wasn't at the very beginning. That we grew into that with the mission statement, with the empowering, and with promoting change, positive change. You know, uh, doing your best. You know, all that grew into it. You know,
So,
so
so
that's how all that didn't start with it. The only thing that started with it was the logo and us and
yeah,
the brand behind it.
and your story for sure.
Yeah,
Um, I mean,
yeah. It
you're
never was
definitely
about,
inspirational.
and it's not about people with disabilities. It's just it's people with barriers, and barriers is a very
Absolutely.
anything. You know, mindset is a barrier. Like you said, a bunch of things that you said earlier, that all falls in the line of this brand that empowers you to push on, to move forward, to be your best, to do your best, to keep it going, to keep it moving, and to do positive action to promote change.
Absolutely. I mean, that's it right there. I mean, the whole goal is to not to shine light on the actual disability necessarily, but just to shine light on you can break through any barrier that you face. And I think
Yeah.
you're a perfect example of that. You had to break through some really tough ones, really big barriers, but you don't have the word can't in your vocabulary. And I
No.
love that.
Only when I tell someone, the only time it's in my vocabulary when I say, don't say can't, only say how. That's
Exactly.
about the
Yeah.
only time. And
Don't
if I
say
do
you
say it,
can't,
I
only
catch
say how.
myself. Yeah, always say, wait, never say can't, always say how. That's one of the quotes. Another quote that came about was, I never knew how powerful one word could be until I wore it on a shirt.
Wow. I like it.
That,
That's awesome. It's definitely
thanks.
an incredible story, very inspirational to me and to hopefully to all those that they get to listen to it. Because I mean, if they can't find the inspiration in somebody that is dealt with the barriers that you were dealt with, and probably continue to face to today, that you're still facing, barriers that struggling with today. I mean, those things
I've been on
don't
bed rest for 7 weeks.
do
And
what.
then March, I'm on bed rest right now. So I'm up in my chair. I just got up in my chair like about an hour ago. But I've been battling a bone infection since March 1st, 2018. And when that happened, from the first time I spent 670 days of bed rest period. So the only time I really got up was for the wound care doctor and urologist and other doctor appointments, my golf outing for my fundraiser for my van, my dinner event for my fundraiser for my van, and a couple family functions. And that's it. 670 days of humbleness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And
that's why when people interview me about the COVID lockdown, I was 2 years ahead of it, prepared.
yeah,
So it's like, I was like, man, I just got healed December of 2019, and I was back up in my chair being mobile again. Got the van December 20th after 30 months of fundraising, and there's a video of that. And Damon joined halfway into the fundraiser. He joined the team and let me have a couple people that work for him help me with the campaign and stuff, George and Sherry. So it was awesome. Like, it was great, man, working with Shark Group. It was awesome.
I
But
can imagine.
December 20th, and it's the 20th again, not planned that way, Inspired Friday. December 20th on Inspired Friday, I go get the van. And that's on the front page of my YouTube channel. You'll see what it was like when I went and got this van. Like, I was like up in the clouds, man. It was just amazing. You know what was so cool about it? My mom and my stepdad and my dad and my stepmom were there to be there.
Yeah.
My stepbrother was there too, but it was really cool to have all my parents there, for that moment, for that day. And so I was back up in mobile, and I was like, yeah, gonna be driving. I don't drive, I ride on the passenger side, the van. I roll up on the passenger side. But I was like, we're gonna be everywhere traveling and all that stuff. Then 2020 came, and I was still up in my chair doing better, getting stronger. I didn't have to be in bed anymore. I was all healed up. The whole of my body was closed up. And then COVID hit. And then I was like, and then it was like, uh-oh. And I left my house and moved in temporarily with my caregiver because I have about 4 or 5 people in and out of my house in a day. So
Yeah.
everybody was able to stay home, stay with their families, stay safe. We closed the business down, and I was able to get 24-hour care. And that's where I did like all these podcast interviews while the COVID was, the lockdown was happening. So from March to July 26th, I came home July 26th, back to my house. Then I had to gather all my staff back again, get the calendar back going right. So that was hard enough. Like, I was like, I got to get everybody back on track, get the business back open, get that back on track. And then July 28th, so 2 days later on a Tuesday morning, Taco Tuesday at that, but tacos never still made it better no matter what, even though the morning. So my caregiver rolls me over to wash my bottom in the morning time. And she's like, you got a hole in you. But like, I was like, hey, it was just a pimple that popped or something. But then she cleaned me up and got me dressed, and then, transferred me to the wheelchair. And when I was up in the sling, because I'm in this Hoyer lip sling, she showed me the turn sheet. And the turn sheet's like this thing that goes across the bed. It's kind of like a half sheet so that people can move your body. They go on one side and pull the sheet and stuff. That's how you can turn. And it looked like a murder scene. It looked bad. Blood and everywhere, all over. And I was like, oh, that doesn't look good. So John, the one that I was staying with, he comes in Tuesday evening. So I was still in my chair. I had no idea. I was trying not to think about it, like trying to think positive about it. Then, okay, he gets here 5:15, transfer me out of the wheelchair back in bed, takes my pants down, rolls me on my side. Here comes the moment in truth. The drum roll. And he says, yeah, it opened up. The hole's back. Like, I was not expecting that. It was hard enough coming back and getting everything with COVID, the new policies, mask wearing, the sanitizing, all this stuff, this new stuff that we got to put in place so that we can stay safe, And here I am back on bed rest. So we take pictures, send it to my doctor, and he's like, you know what I'm going to tell you, like I think you relapsed. That's what a chronic bone infection looks like. So I was like, back on bed rest. Here we go. Back to it again. And here we are 7 weeks later.
Yeah. So
I think
you're
I've been in my chair. I was in my chair Sunday. I'm in my chair right now. I was in my chair last Tuesday. These are only for a few hours too. Maybe I think I've been in my chair 4 times in 7 weeks. Oh no, wait, my bad. Every 2 weeks I got to go to the urologist. So, let's say like 6 hours, but not much. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
not much.
So, so there it is. And getting in my chair today, I was like, beep beep, I'm on the struggle bus because I was struggling, breathing, my body's twitching from spazzing, like it keeps pushing me over. Um, I'm okay now. Actually, I'm better. I'm better right now than I was when we started this interview, to tell you the truth. I was still on the struggle bus when we
Yeah.
started this interview. I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
Well, I do
but
appreciate you
yeah,
hanging out. I mean,
yeah,
this, I mean, everybody, you're going to face those struggles, and especially your situation, those barriers are going to continue to come. But I love the mentality that it's just don't. There's no other option. Like you have to find out a way to break that barrier. And that's, I mean, that's who you are. And I absolutely love that. And when I, we're talking about the story and just your journey, and it just brings me, kind of humbles, my story a little bit, and saying, what are the barriers that I face that I sit there and kind of go back to and go, well, I can't do that, or I'm not good enough, or, I'm just not supposed to do that, or whatever it may be. And, what are
right.
those barriers that I have that I've kind of bowed to, instead of going over and finding a way to do that. And I think a lot of people face um, those situations, and I think that's what your story is going to help with.
Especially now, people's world has been rocked. This could be their first crisis is the COVID. A lot
Absolutely.
they may never have experienced a crisis like that. And so to them, this is they're going outside and getting shot, it's their thing.
Absolutely.
My world has changed, rocked upside down. How do I move forward? What do I do? How do I stop anxiety? Do I listen to books? Do I watch the news? Do I turn the TV off? Do I wear a mask? Do I not wear a mask? Do I, all these things. And that's the thing. But the main thing, this is what's good for people right now. This was the time for people to just pause and really find out what's really important.
Yeah.
What's really important? Material things? Psh, no. What's important? Family, friends, fellowship, like things that are not replaceable. Socializing. How many people right now, even people that are is it introvert, that they don't like to be around a social, would love to just socialize
Yeah.
around a
Absolutely.
person. Help, if there was no danger, like, if there was, before, like healthy, like, being able to be hugged, being able to be close to each other, all those things. Think about how we've been, like how now is. Stay away from each other, put barriers against each other. They call it social distancing, which doesn't make sense to me because socializing is close. It should be
Yeah.
physical distancing. You can be social distance and be right next to a person. You just don't have to pay attention to them, you know? So
Yeah.
it should be like a physical, actual distance. From that place to that place, you go over there and I'll go over here. With socializing, nobody's ever said, well, that person's socially distanced from a person. That means that they weren't very talkative
Yeah.
in
Absolutely.
in a social situation, like a party. The person that's at the party that didn't talk very much. They may be around a bunch of people. They just didn't socialize. So I'm not sure how they started seeing social distancing because it never made any sense to me.
Yeah.
So I always just said like physical, like keep a, the physical distance of
Yeah.
whatever that means, 6 feet. I don't know how they come up with that because if it's in the air, it travels. So I don't, I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
don't know. It's all
So
kind of crazy in that
overload
world, but
was information overload
yeah.
with good information, bad information, false information. You can't. What do they say? Like, wasn't it one bad apple ruins the bunch? So
Yeah.
if one not truthful thing and everything else is truthful, now you got people that the biggest thing is losing the trust of a person. If you don't trust
Absolutely.
the product, you don't trust a company, if you don't trust what people are saying to you, truth is big. Like truth is the number one thing. Like you want people to be truthful. You want the truth in this world. You want to know you have the truth when you speak to people, when you buy things, what advice you're given, the truth, not
Yeah.
BS. You don't want someone just blowing steam up you and selling product to you just because they want to make a buck. No, man, you want
Yeah.
truth. So that's why you got to be as real as you can be and be you. That's the other thing. Be you. Don't be somebody else. Being
Yeah.
somebody else is hard. It's something you have to always constantly try to work towards being that person instead of being you and being inspired by that person or motivated by that person. Like, wow, I like how they work or I like how they teach. I'm going to do that, but I'm going to put my own Eric into it.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, that's
yeah,
the key. Like and the whole, I guess, key to the message today for the listeners is to, give them a sense of, I mean, humbleness, but you have a disability that you're facing, and like you said earlier, we all have that moment in time of, what may compare to your time where you were shot to maybe my time when I was facing this major, crisis in my life and what kind of changed my situation. So we all have those, and it's not to shine a brighter light on one or the other, but you face it. So face your own barriers, but don't like take the word can't out of your vocabulary is what I'm thinking. But
right,
um, you know, you got to be you. You like you said, you take, if you like some industry or whatever, yeah, there's probably someone else that does that, but you are you, and you have your own spin on it. So go do it, and trust that people are gonna come to you because they like you and not somebody else. Um,
right.
that's
And
what.
that it works for them too.
Yeah.
Things like I've learned, like trying to find out like what you want to do or like what are your passions. And I've told people before, and I learned this is not mine. This is something that I put together through, like my own kind of. And it was like, what does your best day look like? So like get out a piece of paper, write out write out what's your best day. What will your best day look like or your ideal day? Where would you be? Who would you be with? What would you be eating? What would you be drinking? Where would you have? What career would you have? How many kids would you have? Would you not have kids? Where this location is? What's the temperature? What's the weather? Everything. Just write it all out and then go, wow, that's what my best day looks like, and I'm gonna make it happen. Now you got the map, and now you just gotta say, now how do I make that happen? What do I got to do to make that day come to be possible?
That's awesome.
That's like, and that's just like a campaign. And I learned a lot of those campaigns through being an ambassador for Damon John's his books that he had. How to do a successful campaign. What's the mission? Get the van. Why do I need the van? Because it's going to help me continue the mission of what I do. Empower, resilience, inspiring change. And so you put that out and you tell them why you need help because it's expensive. You can't afford it. So, or you're not able to afford it. Not able, not can't.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, what do I do? How can I make this happen? That we know the goal, the target, the end goal is to get the van. Once you get the van too, how is that going to help society? Like, what are you going to do once you get the van? Is it just going to take you to the grocery store and back and that's it? Or are you going to use it to go public speak, to volunteer, to go travel somewhere, to go fight for rights of people with disabilities, to advocate, what is it, how is it going to be used too, for the greater good. And then who can help you? Start writing out your list, write out your list, write out the sponsors. What, okay, you got a van. There's a chassis, there's tires, there's a locking system, there's seats. Who makes the van? Who modifies the van? Who sells the van? Who makes the tires? And break it all down into pieces and go and contact them. Hey, Goodyear, I'm trying to get this van. This is, and send it off what you're doing. Maybe you can sponsor the wheels or the wheels. Maybe they'll do in-kind sponsorship and sponsor the wheels. And what they do is they'll send the wheels to the company that's modifying the van. Or Chrysler, I'm trying to get this van. This is what's going on. What can you do? Can you knock 10,000 off? Can you be a sponsor? This is the campaign. We drive to inspire. Another story told, another vehicle on the road. So you come up with the branding of it, the campaign of it, and it flows,
Yeah.
And then you get people to get behind it. And people that get behind it, they're only getting behind it because they believe in you. They believe in your mission. They believe in what you're going to do. And the people that don't, they either don't, they're not able to because they're not able to afford it, or they don't understand clear on what it is. Or they might just not care. They might just be like,
Yeah.
that's all right though. Maybe they can share it. Maybe they'll just share it or tell somebody.
But you're trying to get people to get behind you in your story, and
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. And I mean, that's what you're doing in business too. It's the same concept. You're trying to get people behind you, and then so that they can share, and you help as many people as you can. I mean, I think that's what that's what I started the podcast for. I just want to be able to serve people and share stories like yours, and kind of inspire people to do what they want to do in life, and not sit around and wait and just accept what normal life is. Because we all
Right.
have our own dreams, and I want people to go get them.
Right. And not be afraid to share your story.
Yeah.
Or what you need help with. Like you have to just stop being prideful. If you need help, then just say you need help with something. Hey man, I am looking at this equipment. I need help. You have any idea how I could get it? I'm not able to afford it. That's the number one. We already know that you're not able to afford it or you wouldn't ask. So we know that. We know that is one barrier. Finance or money or something, purchasing, right away. And then you go, okay, well, there might be grants out there available. Let's see what's going on. Well, this organization, they offer assistive technology grant up to 25,000. That might be something that you could file for. What is the company that you're looking like? Who are the brands that make this company or that make this product? Have you contacted them on Facebook? Well, no. Do it. Find out who the decision maker is and contact them. And don't just let one time go. Contact them. If they haven't returned your call, contact them again.
Yeah.
Until they finally say, we're just not able to do it. And then you can say, well, is there any in-kind sponsorship you can do? So maybe they can't do financial sponsorship, but maybe they can mark it down. Maybe they can say, you know what, we can mark it down 20%, 30% or something. It's a start to whatever you're trying to get to. Maybe you can put someone's business on the equipment. Maybe it's something where you can put the logo of the business when they sponsor that. And it's like, oh yeah, that lift over there, that was sponsored by such and such. That's how I got it. Every time you talk about it, you'd like, see that right there? Yeah, such and such. That's how I bought it. They sponsored it. And you're like, whoa, that's how you got it? Because people are going to ask you, how'd you get the equipment? How'd you do that? Well, I had sponsors, or I had this, or I had a golf outing. Put an event together, have a bowling event, have a golf outing, have a spaghetti dinner, whatever it is. There's thousands and thousands of opportunities out there to be able to get to the goal.
Yeah.
You may not get it tomorrow. It took 30 months to get the van. Did I want it right away? Of course I did. But it also the challenges too that come to you also show you that you want it, and not you're just talking about it. You're not just wanting the want of it. You actually do want the vehicle. But some people want the want of it. It's like the lottery ticket, you know? They talk about how they would spend the money if they won the lotto, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's how you're gonna do it. So how many tickets did you buy? I ain't bought a ticket. Oh, so you just want to talk about. You're
Yeah.
just talking about if you won the lottery, but you didn't buy a ticket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the talk of it instead of the goal of it. Yeah, some people are on that, and sometimes things will challenge you to see if you truly, truly, truly want it. Because if you're gonna be challenged, if you wake up and you're like, man, I give up. That's it. That was pretty quick. One little barrier and you gave up.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
didn't really want that. You really want it. You're gonna push. You're gonna push hard because you want it. You want to
Yeah,
succeed. You want to reach that goal.
absolutely. Well, man, it's been a great interview here, and it's good to talk to you. What would you say maybe one more comment or thing to say to people?
Right now where we're at, we're like in this, what's going on now, 2020. Just be ready. Since there's a time that you're able to take some steps back or pause, then figure out like what's really important to you. If there's some goals or dreams that you want to achieve, start writing them out, get it ready. So when the time comes that you're able to go after them, you're already prepared. Your homework's done. You know the plan, you know the process, you know the actionable steps. Be ready. Be ready because right now it's time. It's we have this kind of moment where we can do our research, do our homework, and then when it's time, travel is open everywhere throughout the whole world. It's like, bam, all right, I already know where I'm going. I already
Yeah,
know how I'm getting there. I already know where I'm booking. You have the plan taken care of. Don't wait until we're already open and then make the plan.
yeah, for
Make the
sure.
plan now. Be ready. That's what I would say right now for 2020. You know,
Awesome. Well, good deal, man. I appreciate you coming out and talking to us, and I hope people get a lot of inspiration from your story. I know I did for sure.
awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me come on. It was
What
great.
where can people find you? I mean, I know you said you had YouTubes and stuff, but
Oh yeah. What I would do for the youth, I would go to Google Eric Patrick Thomas, and you'll find like YouTube channel and things like that. And then the website inspireshirt.com, inspireshirt.com. And then we're also on Amazon, Amazon.com/inspireshirt. We're also on Etsy, etsy.com/inspireshirt. Social
awesome.
media for Inspire is always Inspire Shirt, the number one. Wait, no, my bad. It's Inspire Shirt for all the social media except IG. Instagram made us put a number one. So Instagram's Inspired Shirt with the number one. So,
Okay.
and then all mine are Eric Patrick Thomas. So just look up Eric Patrick Thomas.
Awesome. Well, I'll put a lot of that information in the description for people so they can. It's an easy access, easy click for them, so they can reach out and connect with you and
Awesome.
do that kind of stuff. So
You're listening to All Around Wellness Podcast with Zachary Pritchard.
awesome.
Sweet.
Thank you.
All right,
You.
man. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. You have a good one.
You too. All right, man. Take care. We'll be
Thank
in
you.
touch.